Breaking news. Russian naval parade features Putin and several African leaders. On Sunday, President Putin praised the Russian Navy in an address at St. Petersburg's annual warship parade, which he attended with a number of African leaders. 3 Ukrainian drones were shot down over Moscow early on Sunday, and the military display took place as Moscow's offensive in Ukraine enters its second year. Russia's naval forces have been instrumental in the country's offensive against Ukraine, which has seen cruise missiles fired from ships and subs and other heavy artillery fired at the country supported by the West. Putin praised the brave crews of ships and submarines, without mentioning Ukraine once during his speech. When fighting for Russia, our sailors give all they've got, show true heroism, and fight valiantly like our great ancestors, Putin said. Today, Russia is confidently implementing major elements of its national maritime policy and consistently building up the power of its navy, he added. According to the Kremlin, 45 ships, boats, and submarines along with about 3,000 servicemen took part in the parade. This week, the former imperial capital played host to a summit between Russia and Africa. Many African heads of state and government were present at Sunday's parade, including those from Mali and Burkina Faso. Russian President Vladimir Putin called the irrational decision by the Baltic countries to prevent Russian fertilizers from entering their ports. Putin said that despite efforts to unblock them, the Baltic ports are still holding back 200,000 tons of Russian fertilizers because someone doesn't want, in Russia, to earn money on this and use the money for the war, as they say. He did stress, however, that Russian firms are willing to give away these fertilizers for free, which makes the Baltic states' actions puzzling. In response to questions from reporters, he reportedly said, "It's just irrational behavior," as reported by TASS. The Russian president made the point that the European Union did not give a damn about the interests of the needy and the poorest countries, characterizing the export of Ukrainian grain as a cover. "This is doubly immoral," he declared. Putin added that large traders benefited the most from the deal because they were able to purchase Ukrainian grain at a discount and resell it at market prices to prosperous countries. Asking, "What do the interests of developing countries and starving peoples have to do with it?" Russian grain accounts for 20% of the market, while Ukrainian grain accounts for only 5%, Putin recalled. Early this morning, drones launched what Russia is calling a terrorist attack on Moscow's business district. The airspace over the capital was temporarily closed, and flights from one of the airports were halted for about an hour. In order to revitalize the Black Sea grain deal, Pope Francis has appealed to Russia. Francis said in today's Angelus message, "I appeal to my brothers, the authorities of the Russian Federation, so that the Black Sea initiative can be revived and grain can be transported safely." At a summit this past weekend, African leaders reiterated their call for Vladimir Putin to restore the grain deal. Russia has pulled out of the deal, saying its conditions were not met, despite the fact that it had allowed Ukraine to export grain from its seaports despite the war.